Welcome to this episode of the Saddleback Pod. My name is Matt Gillett. I am the host here. I am joined by Steven Lonzo, co-owner.
Yeah, owner of the Comfort Zone Cigar Lounge and Bistro, along with my lovely wife, Steven Lonzo, who's one of my biggest supporters, man. So,
and also in the house here, so you gotta watch what we say. You gotta be all good.
Always have to put that shout out there.
Yeah, a little pressure now. I hear. Well, tell me a little bit about the Comfort Lounge.
Man, the Comfort Zone
the
Comfort Zone is just what it is. Just what it says. It's a cigar lounge that also offers great food and a nice ambiance and quality drinks.
So yeah, the first time I went there, I have a friend Evan, and he basically kind of set up a small Facebook group, and it was like, hey, let's meet up for cigars. And I was not a cigar person. I didn't know much about it. I instantly went to TikTok and started to try to cigars for beginners type of thing.
Yeah.
And so your place was kind of my first introduction to this whole world, and I was quite nervous about it. I didn't know what kind of etiquette, the lingo, and your staff walked me through everything, and it was amazing as a beginner experience because I just genuinely had no idea what I was doing. So he hooked that whole thing up. There was like 3 or 4 of us. We just sat there. We went into the humidor. They guided us through everything. It was pretty seamless. And then it was kind of up to me to not screw it up. I just kind of sat there, but it gave me this cool opportunity to experience something that normally I would never be in that kind of situation on my own. And I don't know, it was just nice. It was relaxing. I didn't catch myself doing anything stupid. And I don't know.
And man, your recap is exactly what we would like for everyone else to have, man. That type of experience. Feedback that you just shared about the staff, walking you through it as a first timer. That's important to us to hear that type of feedback, knowing that our people are helping taking care of our guests and that you've had a great experience during your first visit, man. And so that's what it's all about.
And that's really what's kept me coming back. The second time I came in there, it was like they'd remembered me. It was, I think, how did she word it out? Oh, I know, you know what you're doing. You've been here before. And I was like, well, wait, I don't have any idea what I'm doing, actually. But, it was just a warm, welcoming feeling where I think I just came in by myself, popped open my laptop. It was kind of one of those like 4 o'clock type things where I was just going to crank out the last few things I had to do before I had to head home. And it fit the bill for me. It was that, I didn't want to go have a drink. I just kind of wanted to relax. It was too late for me to have caffeine, and the cigar was what kind of brought it all together.
And man, that's part of the mindset and the planning. The cigar lounge is like a safe haven, man, for comfort, for relaxation, man, for a good time. You can create any type of atmosphere that you would like to have at the Comfort Zone or any cigar lounge for that matter, but specifically the Comfort Zone. If you want to come and just relax and wind down, Comfort Zone is the place for you. Have a nice cigar. And in your case, finish up some last minute work or a day of work is also something that can happen at the Comfort Zone.
Yeah.
You can get the fellas together or ladies and come and have a game of chess or just social hour or just some think time, man, and some time to reflect or just to socialize and just have a party.
Yeah.
So all those things can happen in a cigar lounge, and you meet great people, man, like yourself.
I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you for giving us the opportunity, man, and stepping out and taking that risk and doing it with us.
Yeah.
And having a good experience, man, and sharing it with everyone.
So walk me through how this all started. This is the former Leo's Outpost on South Pennsylvania.
Yes.
It was bar restaurant before you obtained it, and I want to say it was sitting for a hot second before.
Yeah, I think it shut down during the COVID era. And so, the whole concept came about, Matt, man. It was It's always been a passion. I enjoy smoking cigars, man.
Hmm.
And when we travel, my wife and I travel, or we travel as a family, or if I travel as an individual, I'm always seeking out cigar lounges just to go and have that cigar and or meal and cocktail,
Yep.
right? And I've always wanted to have my own cigar lounge. And for years, literally, I've talked to my wife about, babe, I want to open a cigar lounge. And the answer was always, no, this is not the right time, not the right
Never
time.
the right time.
Exactly. And so it was during that whole COVID era, man, where we really had time to really sit and reflect and think. And so I was ordering all these books about, and I would forward my wife resources that I would find on social media about starting a cigar lounge, and just always just sending her stuff. She never responded, right? I don't even know if she acknowledged it most of the
Here we
time.
go again.
But I'm always just sending stuff, man, just so she'll know, like, he's not going to quit.
Hmm.
He's not going to stop. So at any rate, we talked about this during the COVID season, man, and she finally said, okay, I'll support it. Let's do it. And immediately, man, we started just looking for a nice venue that we would love to call it, the Cigar Lounge. We didn't even have a name for it at the time. And so there were two properties in particular we were looking at. And that Leo's Outpost, it just worked out for us, man, with Dan Baker, who was the
Yeah, I
previous
know
owner,
Dan.
man. He was a phenomenal guy to work with and a great supporter, great resource.
Hmm.
Even after we purchased the building from him,
It's a good dude.
yeah, he was still very supportive, man, and helping us to get started. And so, you know, after we agreed that we would do this, my wife assisted me and we set up with the SBC to create the business plan, and everything just started moving forward, man. And it finally happened. It finally happened. And so Leo's, which was a staple in the community, we went in and made some changes in the place
Yeah.
and sort of tried to modernize it a little bit and give it a more upscale, comforting feeling,
Hmm.
with some different dimensions that the eye can see as soon as you walk in the place.
Yep.
And here we have it.
Yeah, it definitely, that experience when you walk in the door is elevated.
Yeah.
It definitely screams like, hey man, this isn't, I mean, there's no, not a knock on Leo's because I love Dan Gill and I
Oh yeah,
love
yeah. I was
the,
listen.
but
I frequented Leo's plenty of times,
yeah,
also, man.
it's just different vibe. And it was interesting because having been there previously before Comfort Zone took over, you can still see where some of the Leo's things were.
Oh yeah,
But at the same time, if you've never been there, like you would
not know.
never know. Like the
Yeah,
layout is, it's very high. It feels very high end to me. Like if I closed my eyes and you put me in this building for the first time, not a knock on South Lansing, but I don't know if I would say I'm in South Lansing right now. I'd be like downtown somewhere. That's kind of the feel that I get when I
yeah.
come in
And
there.
we've gotten that a lot too, man, from guests that have visited with us. Those that are from Lansing and folks that are not from Lansing
Hmm.
that have come in to enjoy a cigar or dining experience or bar experience, man. They've shared like, wow, this does not feel like we are in Lansing.
One of the things I get asked a lot about is it a cigar lounge or is it a bar? Is it a restaurant? Or if it's all of them, how do they allow smoking cigars and the service of alcohol in a building? And I never have a good answer for that. Like
Yeah, that's
I don't
that's a
know.
good
I don't ask
question.
questions. I just enjoy what's there and go
Yeah,
from
that's
there.
that's a great question. And what allow it to answer the question is all of the above.
Okay.
It's a cigar lounge where you can freely smoke cigars and pipe tobacco or
Okay.
pipes in the venue. You can enjoy a wonderful meal from the menu
Hmm.
and also a delicious cocktail from the bar. You can do all of those things under one roof. And what allows us to enjoy the cigar smoking is this what they call a cigar exemption,
Okay.
which exempts you from the smoking. Is it prohibition, right?
Yeah.
And so that exemption, which they're like a diamond in the rough
Really?
to find, and if you can locate one, you're gonna pay a pretty penny for it.
Wow. Okay.
But that is what allows you to enjoy your cigar.
So it's not like anybody can just go open one.
No,
You've got
yeah, you have to have that special license to do that.
are those allocated across like state or it's got to be
Yeah.
county?
So to my understanding, there will never be another cigar exemption printed.
Okay, makes sense.
So in order to obtain one, you have to purchase from someone that already has ownership and that exemption is in good standing.
Okay. And then they have to sell it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And they can pretty much put their own price tag on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of those type of things.
Yeah, one of those type
So
of
how long did you have to search for that?
Wow, you know what? We were very fortunate because I think once we began the search, we instantly got about maybe 4 contacts. And one of those contacts was that diamond for us.
Really?
And so we were able to lock in the deal. And here's the funny thing. We purchased that cigar exemption and secured that, man, before we did anything else.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And I would have
Yeah.
thought that'd be the most
Yeah,
challenging.
work backwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, we wanted to make sure we secured that because we could have secured a venue, fortunate enough to get a liquor license and, a certificate to operate
Yeah.
restaurant. But then you couldn't enjoy the cigar
Yeah.
without the exemption. So I think that would have been the most critical piece of the whole puzzle.
Hmm.
And so without that, you wouldn't have had the full picture.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It like we have an Ingham County Class C liquor license. We don't sell any booze really, but that was kind of the same thing. Is that everybody told me how hard it was to get these things. There's none of them made. It's you're going to be paying top dollar if you want to get in the booze game. And then I went down to the escrow thing. I just started making calls. I think it was like the fourth call I made. Somebody on the other line picked up the phone and was like, "Yeah, I'll sell it to you." I'm like, "Wait, this is supposed to be really
Right.
difficult here." And here we go.
Listen,
So
it's difficult until those dead presidents show up, right?
yeah,
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 and that's what talks, man. But no, we were very fortunate, and we've always had this dream. Now, like wow, since that dream became a reality, what's the possibility of us opening another one in a different area?
hmm
That's always you know crossed our minds. But as we focus on really dialing this place in, as they say, perfecting it.
Yep.
And you know, as we mentioned earlier, man, just making sure we've corrected all the errors that we've made,
hmm
making sure that we've, made great decisions with staffing and listen to the feedback of our guests and put all those things into play. Opening a second operation, man, maybe something we can do together.
Yeah. What's some things that you've learned here? I mean, it's been 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
when Saddleback started, it was obviously same thing. Dream. I would let a lot of emotional stuff stick with me. This is what I would want. And what I soon realized was what I liked, what I enjoyed, what I thought was worthy of having its own place. Not everybody else felt that way. Or at least I couldn't find them to come in and share it with me. So we had to change some stuff. We had to loosen the reins a little bit, whether it was, maybe our pricing model, whether it was our service model, how we presented ourselves to the public. All these things had to be not necessarily 180'd, but they had to be tweaked a little bit. And, I think one of the reasons we're still around to some degree was that we were flexible about it. We weren't too stern on the idea that, no, I see this is how it's going to be. We were able to grow, which is sounding like kind of what some of
Yeah.
the adjustments that you're making. But walk me through these last 6 months. opening
Listen,
now. Like,
I'm sure I cannot mention anything that you have not already experienced, man. Listen, we've celebrated during this process, man. We've cried during this process, man. I mean, it's like it's been a true roller coaster, man. A true roller coaster, man. And we're still on the ride. We're still on the journey. And what we're understanding is that it is a true journey, a true learning experience. I mean, it has been um, rewarding and challenging at the same time. I mean, from the very beginning, we have three different licensing aspects that we have to, tailor, which is, the cigar exemption or the tobacco end of it,
hmm
the bar liquor end of it, and then the
hmm
restaurant piece of it, which to me has been the most challenging. Like you, we've been making adjustments since day one.
hmm
Finding the things that has been working for us, things that we've, needed to adjust right away. And we're constantly soliciting feedback and listening to our audience to make sure that we present and offer a genuine, unforgettable experience each and every time, you know, we have the opportunity to provide a service to anyone that walks through our doors.
Yeah,
That
that's I can like the nerdy side, like on the food side of things, like when looking at just your beverage list, your wine list, your cocktails, your selection, and then your menu, you can tell like this is meant to be an experience. This isn't, this is you're gonna come in here and you're gonna, you're gonna spend some money and you're gonna have a good time.
yeah,
And that's that was my take by just looking at it. Like they're here to impress. This
yeah,
isn't
that
Applebee's.
that was one of our expectations. We wanted it to be an experience. One thing that I lost concept of during this journey was a budget.
hmm
you know, and we went way over budget. You know, initially, trying to make sure we created the space that we really wanted to offer,
Yep.
and that's my
Oh,
fault.
sorry.
And so, as I was sharing earlier about the whole restaurant piece, it was just all in my vision, man. Not having any experience in this industry at all. It's like, yeah, babe, I would like to make sure we serve all prime cut meats, the highest quality seafood, and man, so okay, now we get down to meeting with vendors and learning how that process works, man, and trying to learn about food costs, waste, and sales, and all that. And it's like an entire science, man. It's all process and procedure that I was not aware of.
Yeah.
And so, we're learning, man, and we've had some phenomenal people that have been very resourceful. The vendors and the different departments that they offer,
hmm
or have that offer resources to support and assist, man. So, but after getting into it, it became quite intimidating, man.
Yeah.
Quite intimidating, especially when the invoices start rolling in.
hmm
And this is before you even the doors even open
hmm
to begin inviting guests in. You've already spent over $1.6 million
Yeah.
in the project,
Yeah.
man. It's just like, wow. And it,
Yeah.
it continues to go out until you are in a position to open your doors to offer the services to the public.
Yeah. I mean, we've got four now, and we've always said, closing that gap between when the lease or the purchasing of the property is there to when the doors open. Like, I don't know how people can stay 2 years and building out these things. I'm like, man, that's a lot of cost you're eating up there. So we've always tried to shrink that timeline down. But I mean, a lot of it doesn't fall in your hands. You've got, government's got to come in and say yes, whether it's the city, whether it's the state, God knows what the cigar thing, how that
Yeah.
process works. And it does take time. But you're right, like that leading up part, you're just dumping money. I mean, every single time you walk into your building, you're probably signing a check or agreeing to spend something. It seems weird, but it's like, walking to the store every single day going, I'm not going to make any money today, but let's find something to spend it on.
Yeah,
And
man.
there's no good way to do it.
And those be those moments, where when you come in and the place is not full to capacity,
Hmm.
that's when you constantly making adjustments and going to work on social media, making phone calls or trying to, bring different um, activities or events to the venue
Hmm.
to, encourage the people to come out
Yeah.
and spend some time.
Yeah. I mean, it's attracting the guests it can be it seems like, when you see it from afar, you're always like that. They're always busy. They're always doing these cool things. We could do that. And then when you actually get into practice, like this is a lot harder than it
Oh
looks. Like
yeah.
I've worked harder on events that span 4 hours than an entire week's worth of work sometimes. Just on that, the thought it's exhausting just constantly thinking about
Yes,
what's
it
going to go
is.
wrong with this. We're doing this thing with the idea that this person's going to experience something they've never experienced before and really enjoy it. And it's a lifelong memory. And all the work that goes into that one person's 2 hour experience is daunting. You do not want to screw that up.
Absolutely, man. And the funny thing is, being that, we're young entrepreneurs, man, and this is a new industry for me and my wife per se. We always get asked a lot of questions about just that whole process and being an entrepreneur, right? Because like you and I were mentioning earlier before we came in, a lot of folks just kind of see that end result,
Hmm.
like the building and it's finished and your doors are open,
Hmm.
but they don't have an opportunity to see all the processes and procedures that goes into um, getting to that space.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 100%. Like, there's somebody out there right now that's like, that's Steven Lonzo, man. That dude's got it made. Guy's got his
Yes.
own spot, cigar lounge, serving tomahawk steaks. He's got bourbon, like the whole 9 yards. Then there's you, and the reality of it of like,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sweating, man. Like
Exactly.
I cry myself to sleep some nights, and that's how at least it is for me. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the perception of it. I mean, restaurants and hospitality has so much sex appeal. Like everybody wants to be in it. They know what they could do better for it. They know I've been to this place in this town. I ate this. You should. I mean, it happened to me today. Someone's just like, have you ever been to this place? I think that would work in Lansing. I'm like, I can barely figure out the things that I know how to
Yeah,
do
you
it work. Like I
you get a
can't
lot of
just.
dream crushers too, man. I mean, like there be times where you'll have a guest and they'll come in and just offer all kind of suggestions, and you just want to say, listen, I just want to be proud of what I've established right here,
Yeah,
and I just want you to enjoy this experience of at least what we put together for
yeah.
you.
You don't want to like it's obviously a business and it's there to make money. If it's not, then it's just a genuine hobby.
Yeah.
Like, but it still has a soul to some degree. Like you want it to still be some sort of representation of your core idea, your core values. Without that, I mean, should have just got a Subway. Probably would have been an easier
Right.
route. Like,
They'll probably still do the same thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But no,
No.
man, it's been a great journey thus far. Like I said, we've been open for about 6 months now,
Hmm.
and we're still learning, man. We're trying to see what the spring, the true spring, once the weather is consistently nice, and the summer is going to bring about for us. Um, we want to have a full year under our belt
Yep.
to see what has been the pros and the cons about this entire model that we presented.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna do outdoor seating once it gets warmer or?
Yeah, yeah. So we were approved for outdoor service. We have a front patio area, and we also have a Three Seasons room where we can roll up the doors and things
Okay.
like that. And we're really planning some really nice events for the summer.
I saw your events page and that it's it's cool. I mean, you've got some good dinners in there. I saw you have some whiskey tastings type
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Like,
We've been trying to offer a variety of things, man, to, attract folks from different walks of life.
Hmm.
Whether you're a cigar smoker or not, whether you like great cuisine, cocktails,
Hmm.
or either you may just enjoy good music.
Walk me through your beverage program. Like when I looked at your list of just what you have on hand, I was impressed. I mean, most places won't carry a lot of that stuff, and it's like, wow, I thought that was pretty ambitious for just to start up on that side of town.
Yeah, yeah, man. We tried to swing for the fences on this one. We really wanted it to be quote unquote upscale,
Hmm.
right? And carry a lot of the higher end bourbons and whiskeys
Yeah,
because that sort of pairs well with cigars,
yeah.
right? And scotches as well. And so that was part of the whole model, man. We really wanted to offer a elevated experience and have those signature cocktails, bourbons, whiskeys, cognacs, and scotches that you typically wouldn't get in your regular bar
Yeah.
per
I mean,
se.
I think you've got a great competitive advantage. I mean, if you're a cigar person, there are other cigar lounges in town, but yours is the only one where you can eat and have drinks. It's the same thing. If you like to have drinks and you like to dine, it's like, well, yours is the only one that you can have a cigar at too. So getting those people to know about you, getting those people in is super important because I mean, this sounds obviously there's competition, but like it really isn't. If if you're fitting though in those buckets, there's nowhere else in the Lansing area that I can even think of. Once you get past the Lansing area, that's gonna fill all
Hey,
three of those.
yeah, I think we no, we are the only venue within an 80-mile radius, man, that offers.
Okay.
Yeah, like Birmingham and that side of the state, they have plenty
Hmm.
of lounges that offer, you know, dining and cocktail and cigar experience under one roof.
So, do you on your staff and on your team, do you have people that are dedicated to certain places? Like, do you run with a head bartender or somebody that just specializes in the cigar side? And obviously, your back of the house, the kitchen, is there executive chef, or are you overseeing all this stuff, or how does that break down,
Man, that's a great question.
or
So,
does it not break down? It's just kind
right. No,
of
well, how it works. So I think for us, the in regards to staffing, I think the easiest to staff was the bar
hmm.
because the team we have, they all have bar experience, which is a great thing, man. And here's a funny story, and I'll answer the rest of the
Okay.
questions you asked. When we were interviewing and we finally created the team, I presented a list of cocktails and my staff is pretty young, man. They're pretty young. I presented a list of cocktails, like, hey, yeah, these are the cocktails we want to offer. And man, these I call them youngsters. Man, they looked at me and laughed and said, "This is not gonna work." I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "Man, these they don't fit. These drinks you have here, they don't fit." And they sort of smashed my ego a little bit. But when you talked about being flexible earlier, that's exactly what I had to be, man, because they're a little bit more, quote unquote, hip, and so and that's their space.
Hmm.
And so we allowed them to have space in their space to recreate the cocktails and rename them and put the spin on them that they did to make them what they are today. Or else we would have been in the dinosaur age with cocktail offerings, man. So in terms of staffing, the bar was pretty much the easiest. Now cigars, it's like we're learning as we go.
Okay.
Um, Ideally, I would have really wanted to have a cigar tender
Okay.
on the team. And that's someone that's extremely knowledgeable of cigars, the different regions of tobacco, and can talk just cigar knowledge all day long. That's another rare gem also, right?
That I've never met anybody like that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, man. So that's another quality piece that we had written into our plan that we wanted to have on staff, which they're a dime a dozen, right? And so what we have are just cigar enthusiasts.
Okay.
I don't even consider myself aficionado, but more so an enthusiast because I enjoy it. It's a
Hmm.
passion for me. I
Yep.
enjoy it, and I'm learning every day. And I'm in the lounge, and I'm around people that enjoy cigars, that enjoy the culture,
Yep.
and from reading and attending classes and seminars and things like that. And so right now it's we just go in and talk cigars and we share our experiences and may make suggestions to guests based on what we know about the
Yeah.
cigars,
Hmm.
right? And that's about the best we can do,
Yeah.
in terms of helping guests make a good selection on a particular cigar.
Seems like wine, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you're really guessing what that bottle of wine's going to be, but you're making a very educated guess. And, maybe you haven't had that specific bottle, but you had it from the year before or something from that region, same year, where maybe me and you can make a decision, say, that's the one that we want to, yeah,
exactly.
that's the
Yeah,
way we want to go. So
it's
it,
trial and error and risk
and
taking.
that's the beauty of it, right? If it was the same thing every single
Be
time,
so
what the
boring
hell
and
are we
broke.
doing
Yeah,
here?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you need to have some misses, man. You
Yeah,
need to have, you need to light that cigar and be like, this one's not for me. At least we know. And we appreciate the ones that we like more because we figured out we just didn't like that one or
exactly,
that one
man.
wasn't for us. That's awesome. So tell me about your kitchen. How's that?
Yeah, the back of the house. And listen, I'm gonna put this out here as we're having this conversation. If you are looking for a position as a chef, sous chef, or experienced cook, we're hiring. So we had a young man who's been working in the kitchen with us, man. He's an MSU student. And unfortunately, he starts his internship in Ohio.
Oh, gosh.
And so now, we have put the fillers out there that we're looking for someone that has some experience,
Hmm.
that can, help continue to create the experience in the kitchen that has been started at the comfort
Yep.
zone.
Yeah. It's a hard space and you're not alone. Like most people in the area that we talk to are struggles in that what I probably consider like a skilled position
Yeah,
where
yeah.
somebody that can obviously manage employees, menu design, food cost analysis, all those it is a skilled position. You just can't pick somebody off the street on those things. Um, but when you find that right person, it can
Uh,
make all the difference.
we're gonna lock them down. We're gonna spoil him or her. So if you're in the market and you can hear this, please give us a call.
I think you're doing it right though, like utilizing your vendors, like going to those test kitchens,
Oh
kind of
yeah.
networking and seeing what those are, so that you can really have a good system built up around whoever comes in. So they
Yeah.
know these are the confines that we work in. These are our recipes. This is kind of my expectation as far as food cost is. I let you mess with these areas, do what you want, but
This
we gotta stay tight down on these things, and it normally works out pretty well when you give freedom to everything. When you're saying this is your dry erase board, do what you want, it can get weird quick.
oh yeah.
I've learned that the hard way. Of like
Yeah.
you think collaboratively, everybody's going to come with these great ideas, and again, it's the same idea that we opened with of kind of like it is your idea. You want to keep some of that together. When you give it off to somebody else, then it becomes their idea, and you don't know what
But
the hell they've been thinking about for the last 5-10 years. Like,
yeah, you need to repeat that so my wife can hear that one again. But the thing is, I enjoy cooking. I cook most of the time at home. Now I'm not a chef by trade.
hmm
It's another one of those passion things, and I enjoy eating. I know what I like in terms of taste.
hmm
So I enjoy cooking, but that's really not my space in
hmm
this industry. Like I will and I have
Yep.
had to serve in that capacity. And the beauty of it is like the recipes and things have been created, right, to follow like the recipes that we offer. The challenging piece for me is when the orders start coming in, like you hear
Sink
that
or swim,
machine,
man. Yeah.
and now you're just really trying to pace yourself and figure out, the order of everything. It's just different when you doing one or two at a time as opposed to 10 or 12 and trying to be timely with it and keep the guests happy to avoid those complaints. And oh, man.
Yeah, so a couple of things on that. So once you start having those nightmares and you're hearing that and you're like going, like so and so's been waiting for an hour, and
Oh,
like you just
yeah.
kind of wake up in a cold sweat and you're like, that didn't happen, did it? Like you're reaching for your cell phone, being like, please
Social
God, please.
media, yeah. Oh, did it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was real. No. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, it's tough. Back of the house is always it's a weird playground, man. Like there's some people that really can do a great job and make miracles happen. You're
Yes.
right, I think when you have those troubles as far as a restaurant goes, or not, I don't even want to say troubles, if you just understand how it works back there, you have such appreciation for when you don't notice the flaws. When you go out for a dining
Totally.
experience and it's
Yes.
flawless, you're like, dude, somebody here's a pro. Like somebody here knows what they're doing. Like the drinks are on point, the service is on point. I dropped my napkin, somebody was over here in 5 seconds to get me a new one. Like you didn't have to really do anything. Like that's the ultimate. Like you can leave there going, okay, they know how
Great
to play.
experience.
They know
Yeah.
how to play restaurant.
Yeah. And ultimately, that's what we all desire to be,
Mhm.
and we're working towards that. I think all of us are working towards that type of service and experience for all of our guests,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, 100%. Gosh, what was the uh, who's the heck from Anna Black Eyed Peas? Uh,
Like was it Will?
yeah, Will I Am.
Yeah, yeah.
So I listened to a podcast, and he, after, I mean, he's not done with music, obviously, but like um, big into entrepreneur. I think he opened a couple schools, things like that. And one of the things he said that really resonated with me in this podcast that I was listening to was, he goes, for me to make music for, and I'm misquoting this terribly, but for me to make music for my hood is easy. I can do that all day long.
Mm,
But for me to make music that the world enjoys, that's that's a hard task. And it,
yeah.
it was really it really when you said like I love to cook, I can cook, but when you're actually saying, but now I gotta scale this thing
Yes.
and have that appreciation, that's kind of in a weird way similar, like he's basically, I mean, I love to do this, I can do this, with my eyes closed. If you ask me to do it for a small sample size of this,
Yes.
to make it that somebody enjoys this song, in Oklahoma and in, Brazil, that's tough. That's a
That's where the
whole
work
different ball
comes
game.
in.
So
Yeah.
it's just I think everybody in business deals with to some degree of trying to figure out how it goes. But in our industry, food's easy, man. Like somebody can always replicate that steak maybe better or the way that they like it at home, and you're going to hear about it.
Exactly,
And
man.
it's the same thing with me. I mean, trust me, barbecue and pizza, it's like, well, I can do this at home. Like, yeah, great, but try doing it that way with those ingredients, making money on it with 15 people that like are kind of here and kind of not here sometimes. And,
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it's just, it's a different ball game.
It is all day long, man.
So, I mean, yeah, it's a different level of things. So, um, tell me about like, obviously I had my experience when I walked in your venue and I was able to enjoy a cigar, um, have that good experience. But I do think there is probably some barrier of entry as far as, man, I don't know. I don't really smoke cigars, or I know what a black and mild is, but I don't really know what good cigars is. What's somebody to do or expect when they walk in your venue? If they're having that little timid side of like, I just don't know. Like you got to get them over the hump. So what's your advice to having them feel more not, I don't want to say feel more welcome, but just overcome that kind of oomph to get them in there.
Just be a risk taker. The thing is, and what a lot of folks may not know is that, man, we've invested quite a bit into our filtration system, right?
100%.
And so
That thing cranks.
I know a lot of folks have this misconception. Well, it's not really a misconception. It has been an experience in other venues, but at least at the comfort zone, the HVAC system is phenomenal.
Hmm.
The air purification system is phenomenal. So we have a system that removes stale air and replaces it with fresh air simultaneously.
Yep.
And then we also have additional backup smoke eaters to help remove smoke and stale air so there's no lingering smoke as you walk throughout the venue, even if folks are actively enjoying
Not
cigars.
cloudy at all.
Not cloudy at
Yep.
all. Now, you will naturally have some cigar aroma or, see
Hmm.
as it leaves, a guest's mouth and makes its way out into space
Yep.
somewhere. But it's not a lingering, heavy smoke that is going to overwhelm you once you are inside the venue. So, I would like to share that with listeners and those that are considering. And you have to experience it for yourself, right? If you are not a cigar smoker, and we put this in our model that we wanted the place to be comfortable for
Hmm.
non-cigar smokers. My wife is not a cigar smoker, but she loves to accompany me when I go to venues to enjoy a cigar.
Sure. Yep.
And so that was another piece of the planning process. We wanted the place to be cozy, sexy, friendly, inviting, and comfortable for everyone, cigar smokers and non-cigar smokers.
Yep.
So that if you don't enjoy cigars, you can still come in and enjoy a nice meal or a nice cocktail from the bar without being overwhelmed by cigar smoke.
Yep. Yeah, and I would agree with that. Like that, the aroma of the cigars was never like an intimidating factor. I was always just like, when I go in that humidor, what do I say? Like what do I look? But it is pretty simple. Like it's not as, I guess I would probably compare it to like wine. Of there's 1,000 bottles of wine. You want to try one. Just give some basic kind of notes as far as like, do you want something a little bit softer or stronger or fruity, non-fruity, like that? There's just
Yeah.
some core elements that enthusiasts would be able to walk you through that and get you in
Yeah.
the place you need to
And
go.
I think it's all about just coming in and asking questions and or just having the conversation. And the beauty about it is this. And I know it all comes down to an expense too, because sometimes you hate to pay for a bad experience,
Hmm.
right? But if we make a suggestion and it's not the right suggestion or recommendation, man, we're willing to honor that and make it right.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if we suggest or recommend a cigar that just doesn't fit your palate, that's not a problem.
Yep.
Let's go back to the drawing board because it's important to us as it is important to you to have that best first experience.
Yeah, confidence in your buying experience is
Yeah.
incredible. And the whole thing with me is that I'm batting 1,000. Like every cigar I bought, I've been very happy with, and every time it's been with the guidance of staff. I just don't go in there and close my eyes and point. I don't know regions. I don't know leaves, anything like that, and it's always been good. And I
Yeah.
just don't think there's that one that first time you come in, there is that a little bit of anxiousness if you have never experienced something like that. But once you've done that, you're done. Like it's easy. You can come back whenever you want. You know the routine now. So that was the biggest hurdle for me. That I think that if somebody's out there, it's nothing crazy. Like
No,
it's
not at all, man. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I brought you and Josh, man. I got 3 Oliva G series in here,
all right.
which these cigars here come. It's a Cameroon wrapper, and they are from Nicaragua. The binder and the fillers are Nicaraguan, so these will go great with beef,
All right.
pork,
Now we're
that
talking.
sweet and savory barbecue sauce that you offer over there, Saddleback, man.
A
Nice,
barbecue
easy
sauce
smoke.
cigar pairing.
Yeah, yeah. Nice, easy smoke, man. Mellow. It's a medium body cigar. And then I put one of the Cuba Aliados in here. And this is a Honduran cigar, man. The tobacco, the filler, and the binder all comes from Honduras. And so that's a nice, easy smoking cigar too, man. More mild, medium body cigar. These all, through Oliva. So hope you guys enjoyed
Yes,
those, man.
we appreciate that,
Oh,
man. I know
absolutely.
I'm gonna enjoy. I'm assuming Josh is gonna get down on
And
it.
I just want to say, man, thank you for being very unselfish, man, and inviting me, to have this conversation with you, man. I thought that was a very, very huge, man,
Yeah,
and
no,
I
I'm
really
I'm glad
appreciate
I'm
it.
glad we were able to set it up. I know we've been bouncing dates and stuff around, but no, it's I'm a big fan of the South Side. My wife and I's first house was on the South Side, right off of South Penn there. Our slice location's about a mile north of that, and then obviously you guys are about half mile up there. So we're vested in that area. We want to see it do really well. It was exciting to see. I was nervous when Leo's closed. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna sit. What's gonna happen? I remember one of my food reps came up to me and said, it's been bought." Or I went in there like it's something's happened. I was like, what?
Yeah,
And
man.
then, then to find out that it is what it is, it's a cigar lounge bistro, great, great alcohol menu, great cocktail menu, cigars, obviously, and a
Yeah,
wonderful food menu. It's a blessing, man.
yeah,
It
man.
really is.
And we continue to try to embrace the community, which we've always been big advocates and supporters of this community. I've worked in the school district for 26 years here in Lansing, man. So we've always been supporters of Lansing and the Lansing community. And we continue to do that.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. I mean, it takes a village, man.
absolutely.
Everybody's kind of got to be on the same team, and it's great to have you on that side of town. And so, where do people find you? Not only physical location, but social media. How do they reach out to you?
Yeah, you could go to, if you're on Facebook, the Comfort Zone Cigar Lounge and Bistro or the
Okay.
czlounge.com. We're on Instagram. What's the other one? TikTok, right? and Facebook, and of course you could always Google us.
Awesome.
Right?
Awesome. Hey, man, it's been fun. I really appreciate you
Oh
coming
man,
out here, man.
thank you
This
so
has
much
been a good
again,
time.
Matt. I
Appreciate the
appreciate it.
cigars.
Yes,
Awesome,
sir.
man.
Awesome,
Thanks.
man. Again, thank you. Thank you for being a
Yeah.
supporter and an entrepreneur and a great resource,
Awesome,
man.
man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.